What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about episode 10 of Avatar The Last Airbender. This episode was very interesting. We get to meet a new character as well as a new group of people. So this starts off on them making their way in the Fire Nation. And the first thing that really happens is Momo gets trapped by these Fire Nation traps. And throughout the entirety of this episode, Sokka has these senses that he keeps going off of, and he basically tells them that they should probably not get on Appa. That's how Zuko and everyone else in Fire Nation is tracking them and finding them. And what they do instead is that they walk, and the whole time they're basically complaining and putting down on Sokka and his thoughts. So as they're walking, they end up going through and making their way to this Fire Nation campsite. And while they're at this campsite, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of the Fire Nation people, but there's four of them, and they can't really do much there. So Sokka, being stupid, makes a threat that they're gonna basically beat them, and they laugh and they kind of go to attack them. And out of nowhere, we see this group of people come. And this is whenever we get to meet our character. And his name is Jet. And Jet basically is the leader of this freedom fighter team. And yeah, basically what happened is that his village got destroyed, and because of that, he's fighting for freedom now. And everyone else there, their parents have either died from Fire Nation, or their town, or you know what I mean? It just goes from something like that, some type of similar traumas, and they basically built a whole entire team off of it. So yeah, there's this bigger guy. He's like a giant. His name is Pipsqueak, and he was fighting too in this big battle. It was awesome. So after that, Katara kind of falls in love with this dude. He's kind of he's the dreamy type. He's got two swords. If I can basically compare him to anyone else, he's like an Attack on Titan character. Kind of badass. Kind of like a Levi, but child form. So yeah, he takes them to their hideouts, and during all this, Sokka just doesn't trust them. He thinks that he's up to something, there's something up. So it's they stay there, and Jet's like, we're going to need you for a mission to Sokka because he's trying to leave. And the mission comes, and it ends up they're waiting in a tree listening for someone to come, and out of nowhere this poor old man is there. And Jet tries to basically beat him up and take him for everything he has, because this is what he's always done. He's took everything that the Fire Nation or any other people have had and took it back to their hideout. All their hideout really is, I forgot to mention what their hideout is. They ride up, and it's in these treetops, so it's pretty cool. And you gotta remember, Katara is very in love with Jet, and also Aang, I think he kind of just likes Jet because he's fun, and what he's got is fun, and all the people that are there are pretty fun. So you see there's this little old man that comes out of nowhere while Sokka and Jet are waiting, and Jet tries to beat up this old man, and Sokka's like, you can't do that, he's just an innocent villager. So Sokka stops him before he can kick him, and then he actually instead takes his satchel. He keeps trying to tell Sokka that, look what they've done, they've destroyed our villages, they've killed our parents, stuff like that. So we go back to the village, and basically the next thing we really know, this is the next big main event. He's telling both Sokka is just in disbelief, trying to tell them what he did, and he's trying to play it off like the old man was an assassin. So he has this dagger along with this poison vial inside of it. So this whole time he's lying to get what he wants, and it's terrible things that he wants to do. He's trying to kill the enemies, but in the enemy's fire, he's also killing innocent civilians that have nothing to do with the conflict and what has happened. They're just the crossfire. You know what I mean? It's one of those tough things where who's really in the right, and it's like it's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain who's in the right and who's in the wrong, because you have him and his trauma, but he's letting his trauma override what is right, and it's just complicated, right? Crossfire happens all the time, and you know what I mean? It's like a serious thing. You know, it's like a more serious topic, stuff like this. But anyway, this is the next day after Sokka doesn't believe him or anything that he says. He needs both Katara and Aang to put out fires. And what happens is this is what we know. He's trying to blow up the dam and basically destroy an entire town. He takes Sokka out and basically tells him all this. And what he does is, since Sokka doesn't want to go with it, he gets him to get tied up, and they run him, I guess they're gonna run him to the prison place. So you have Pipsqueak, which is the large guy, and the little tiny guy, I don't know his name. So those are the ones that are escorting Sokka. So Sokka prison camp right now. Katara and Aang, what they're told to do is take these like geysers. You can't really see the water, it's just mist. And what they do is they overrun it into the dam. That way the water is flooding. That way whenever they blow it up, that it just comes bursting through and destroys the town. So they're told to do that and go straight back to base. So anyway, skip a little forward. They finish early, and Katara does what she's not supposed to, tells Aang that that's what they should do. They go ahead and they meet up with them, and they see that they have this explosive jelly that they found earlier at the first campsite where they first met. Whenever they took a bunch of the treasures at their campsite, some of it was explosive jelly, and I think the other one was like jelly candy as well. So now we know that they're the enemies, and Aang wants to save the day. He tries to go fly down, and what happens is out of nowhere, Jet comes up, and he's got like his two swords, and he kind of hits him and stops him from doing it. And there's this big fight going on. Jet has this advantage over Aang, because he's been battling for so long, and I think he's a bit older than him. The whole time, Katara, she was kind of fighting her love for him in the way of what's like right, because in the end she did what's right, and she knew not to just trust her heart of just love. It's what is right, because Katara, she'll do what's right. And during this episode, I'll also say this: Sokka has shown improvements on being a warrior. Whenever he throws his boomerang, it actually hits. Now, I don't know if this is an occurrence that has happened and I just haven't noticed it, but he's slowly becoming more and more of a good fighter. Not insane. He's like one of those fighters that are weak. He's like the Usopp of fighting. For those of you that do watch One Piece, that's what I would compare him to. It's like he's with a bunch of devil fruit users, and he's the only one that can't do it. So Aang and Jet are basically fighting, and during their fight, what is happening is that Aang falls down finally after being hit out of a tree, and they go down. He tries to glide over to him, but it turns out his glider is messed up and has holes in it. And Katara comes out of nowhere and she shoots him with some water. What she's been doing, I don't know if I've noticed this or if this is just something that's occurred recently. She takes these like vials and she can actually waterbend without being near water. So she hits him with a water whiplash, hits him against this tree branch, and then she breathes into it. She goes, and then it turns to ice, which I don't know if that's a byproduct or a more advanced technique. Still very cool. And what happens is that he's stuck to the tree. And during all this, Sokka has gotten out of his, well, not out of it, but he's gotten out of the trap of both Pipsqueak and the little dude. We go back earlier to the traps that were set up by Fire Nation. He runs past them, and both of them get stuck up into the tree. So That's how Sokka gets away. This will become important a little bit now. So the guy is stuck to the tree, or guy Jet, he's stuck to the tree. He's like trying to explain himself. Sorry, my phone's going off like crazy. Right over there. So yeah, Jet's just going off like crazy, and he's given the signal, and he's telling him this is what's right. And what happens is he gives the signal right, and they blow up the dam. He shoots the arrow, blows up the dam, and all we see is this doll as the town is getting destroyed. A bunch of stuff is like coming down the water, like the water stream, and they're like, this is all up to Sokka before all this. And what happens is out of nowhere, Sokka comes. You know, Jet's just talking like crap about it. He's like, oh, this village, it had to be done. All those people, all those innocent villagers, it had to be done. In the end, what happened was that Sokka warned them. At first, they thought he was a spy. Then after that, the old man from earlier that he was, you know, trying to help protect, he actually vouched for him, and it saved him and saved all those lives. So, and then the real hero of this episode was Sokka. They left Jet froze to the tree, so he probably got arrested and maybe executed. I know it's harsh, but he did try. He probably killed many innocent villagers and many others, and he stole countless amount of supplies as well, which already makes him an extremely big criminal in Fire Nation. So yeah, this episode, I gotta say it's a 9.2. Very fascinating episode. What do you guys think about this episode? I thought this one was very wonderful, a big banger. I'm sorry about my phone earlier. I forgot I had my ringer on, so I had to throw it across the room a little bit. Just not in bed though. It's safe. Nothing random. I just thought I would tell you guys. But no, I really enjoyed this episode. I think this one is Avatar, and it's Avatar at its finest. We have topics like war, death, without actually showing death, which I think can be done. Because it's a real life topic. It's serious, teaches you a message. You know, you're questioning what's right. What is right? And it's like things can love overtake what's right. So you got a little bit of a love story. And yeah, I enjoyed this episode really much. I don't know how many times I can say it, but do watch this. My video is just kind of explaining what happened and my thoughts about it. Afterwards, it's not going to be the most purest explanation, and I like to keep it just one take. That way it's more genuine and coming through to you in one piece. Doesn't mean it's good, but I love you guys. I thank you guys for all the support. The views help, the comments help, the subscribers help. So it makes me feel happy that someone else is enjoying what I enjoy. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Did you like this episode? And also, did you guys think that Jet was wrong, or did you think that Jet was right? I think Jet was very wrong in what he was doing. I think he could have went a better way with it if he could have got those villagers out there and told them ahead of time. But then again, it's like evil because you're destroying their homes, and after that they could be homeless, or even, you know what I mean, that you can kill their parents by accident. It's just one of those things where there's no way to do it. It just shows you how bad war is. I'm just blabbering a little bit about it. So anyway, guys, thank you. Stay safe and peace.